Make the whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
This year, don't miss the Newcastle Zim Golf Tournament at the New Begin Golf Club on the beautiful Northumberland coast. The cost is only £50 per person. Please register today via our Facebook page or go straight to Eventbrite and search for Newcastle Zimbabwe Golf Tournament. After the golf, join us for a lovely family dinner at our Black Tie Awards ceremony where we've got lots and lots of prizes to be won. You don't want to miss this. For all other inquiries, please call 079 8625 1952 or 074 5506 1196 today.
Lleno de matero, será ese nosotros, patrón como bendita, ahora es en ese cacuro, curo llene rebano, cote mate en desete, sacanan tangano, padara es amno tenga, nenzera sacanaka, moto se nosotros, samunenge matora, padara es amno tenga, nenzera sacanaka, moto se nosotros, samunenge matora, tesale tinotora, lleno de macedo, será ese nosotros, como vengueta, ahora es en este cacuro, llene verano, cote mate en vestete, sacanan sangano, tisa ete cheupomwe, mondo eche mwenga, tesane se vasungwa, vatinenge tabata, tisa ete cheupomwe, mondo eche mwenga, tesane se vasungwa, vatinenge tabata, tisa tinotora, lleno de matero, será ese nosotros, patrón como vengueta, ahora es en este cacuro, llene rebano, cote mate en desete, sacanan sangano, aya neo mashoko, akata urakare, naevo mamao, vachitesesa, aya neo mashoko, akata urakare, naevo mamao, vachitesesa, tesa tinotora, lleno de matero, será ese nosotros, patrón como vengueta, ahora es en este cacuro, llene rebano, cote mate en vestete, sacanan sangano, kunenze hace maso ya se kunze batana sote, era en moyote, nenzera sakanaka, kunenze hace maso ya se kunze batana sote, era en moyote, nenzera sakanaka, tesare Tinotora Zeno de Matero Sotera Zeno Sote Satura Como Vendi Taura Zeneteka Guru Jenge Vevano Kote Matende
Yes, thank you so much, Zimbabwe, for listening to Zimnet Radio. This is what we do every Thursday. We come up with different topics that we'll be discussing, and also would like to discuss current issues that will be happening, especially on the week that we are discussing the show. Current issues that have been happening in the past 5-6 days, and we kind of discuss it here and hear what the panel have to say. And also, I must say, if you're out there and you also want to participate, you see, this is your program. You have to participate in it. One times, it's no good just listening, you know. It's better to participate. If there's something that is being said on the show that you think is wrong, or you think you know much more than the panelists, you are always free. Actually, you can call us, or you can catch me on WhatsApp. Now, calling us, I think it's easier to use Skype, really. We haven't got any other methods there. We used to have some landlines, but I don't think they're working at the moment. So you ought to have Skype, and our Skype ID is Zimnet Main Radio. Just request to be our friends, and you can come in and participate. But if some people are telling me that they are at work but they are listening, if you're at work but you can only text, please, you're always welcome to do so as well. You can send me a WhatsApp message on the UK number 0798 4455349. That's 0798 4455349. Get in touch and let's hear what you've got to say. I know that for some people might say, well, the interview happened 3-4 days ago, but you know, I was listening to Priscilla Chigumba the other day, having an interview there in Zimbabwe, and a lot of things were kind of clarified. She was asking some questions, burning questions that the public had, and she answered each and every question. Now, I've got people that came to me and say, actually, we actually like this woman. This woman has got integrity, and she answered every question, and fair play to her to come out and clarify, you know, all the mystery that is there. The Bulawayo voting, and also she answered every question. But some people were saying, not convinced whatsoever with what she had to say. So I don't know, kuti mimi makazviona say, I mean, you got to give her, you know, some positives, because she turned up for the interview and she knew that everyone was going to be listening and she was going to be asking tough questions, and she took them on and she answered the questions. I know some people might say she didn't answer it satisfactorily, but what did you want her to say? I wonder. And she was asked about the scarf, you know, that Mnangagwa is going about. In fact, the ZANU PF people close to Mnangagwa are going about with the scarf. But hey, she said that was before the scarf became prominent and whatnot and whatnot. But you know, that's another issue. I don't know what you guys think. You remember last week, Lapepe was saying that there is no ballot paper that have been printed. But he clashed with Sekuru. Sekuru was saying the ballot paper has already been printed and all that. Maybe I was mistaken, but it looks like this ballot paper has already been printed, and it's at Fidelity Printers there in Harare. So maybe Sekuru is vindicated. I don't know. You know, you are the judges out there, Zimbabwe. But I know we've got politics show here, but if you remember Zimbabwe, when the World Cup football started in Russia, we had a bet here live on radio. And may I remind you that Sally said Brazil was going to win it. Chief Soshe said Brazil was going to win it. Mukoma Teach said Brazil was going to win it. Sekuru pitched up and he said it was going to be Spain or Germany. And I said, hang on guys, it is going to be Belgium or France. So I was promised a crate of beer. I just wonder if Sekuru is still on it or you have decided to run away, Sekuru. Good evening to you, Sekuru, in Birmingham.
Good evening, the crate is guaranteed. When do you want to come and pick it?
It's fine, Sekuru. Vasekuru wenyu vavhara zvikoro saka muna August imomo I'll come there and I can get my beer. Is that okay?
No problem at all. And congratulations, Sekuru, wakagona Africa United yakawina.
Fantastic. It's great to have you on the show, Sekuru. Chief Soshe, are you there?
Hey, DJ Magamagadi.
Chief Soshe, I'm just wondering when I can fly to America to grab a crate of beer there. I like Becks.
No, I make promises and I keep them, So the beer will come to you. You don't have to come for it. It will come to you.
Oh, that's fantastic. I shall be waiting for the beer.
And congratulations.
The tender round. God. Those are Zimbabwe. It's not all about serious business here. We throw a little bit of laughter in there as well. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, how are you today?
Oh no, we're doing fine. Just I'm a little hoarse from screaming at people.
Oh, screaming at people. Okay, all right. Sally, welcome to the show. How is South Africa today?
South Africa is alive, I think. I don't know. The cars going past, the people's robbing houses, the people shooting, so it must be alive.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
And good evening, DJ Sodza. I'm not calling you DJ Sodza anymore. You're DJ Chigayo.
Chigayo?
Because you like to stir.
What have I stirred?
You're always stirring with my Sekuru.
Oh, okay.
You are supposed to be respectful. He is an old man. Old man. Don't forget that. He goes to sleep behind the microphone. He fights with us all. So you're supposed to respect him.
Maybe you said sleep behind the microphone.
Yes, you did one night. We even ended up speaking to Mbuya because you were sleeping.
Are you sure about that?
I promise you. Ask DJ Chigayo there.
Sally, thank you so much for that. Mkoma Wilbert, welcome to the show.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome, everybody to the show, and wherever you are in the world who happen to be listening.
Mkoma Wilbert, a lot of people on my WhatsApp group here, because I've got a WhatsApp group for listeners, for Men's Corner listeners, and a lot of them are coming to my private saying that I think Mkoma Wilbert is going to be vindicated. What he has always been saying, that there should be no elections in Zimbabwe until the reforms are made. But that's for another day. I'm just giving back the feedback that people are telling me, that they are fearing that on the 4th or 5th of August or something, you are going to be vindicated. But anyhow, I don't know. Let me start in a Mkoma Wilbert. You heard what Priscilla Chigumba has had to say about all the noise that is coming from the opposition and from other people around Zimbabwe, that there's a problem with ZEC and all that, and she came out. You have to give her for coming out and spell everything. She answered every question. Some people are saying brilliant indeed, and she answered it eloquently. But some are not convinced at all. Are you one of those that were convinced with what she had to say?
Well, my take on her, I'll be honest with you, is that people, I think, are being disingenuous. Because if you honestly think Priscilla Chigumba on her own could deliver free, fair, and credible elections, then you're not being realistic. You know, we and most of those people on this site and on other medias and in politics, the politicians, the MDC guys themselves have admitted that ZEC is full of CIO, former intelligence agencies and double agencies and so forth. And therefore then she is just a figurehead in an organization that is corrupt to the core. And even if we were to turn around and say MDC should appoint whoever they'd like to head ZEC, as it is presently constituted, it will never deliver free and fair elections. People have got short memories. If you look at the predecessor of ZEC, the Election Commission, which was headed by Professor Walter Kamba just soon after independence, it's also was failing to hold free, fair, and credible elections. For the simple reason that Mugabe just appointed those commissioners as figureheads, made sure that they were not properly funded and they had no backup, and Tobai Wamdede was actually running the things behind the scene together with the CIOs. So that is why I've been saying that we need the structural reforms that will reform the institution itself, and then appointing important people. Yes, I think if I am going to criticize Chigumba, I would say she was totally dishonest if she honestly believed she could deliver a free and fair election. She got that job knowing jolly well that she would be expected to turn a blind eye to some of the vote rigging shenanigans that ZANU PF will be doing. And she is paid and paid well to do that. And that is the only reason why she accepted that job.
So what about the technicalities that she tried to explain on the day? I mean, were you convinced on some of the technicalities she was saying?
Well, I mean, you know, if you want to hide something behind the law, you can hide anything you want. You know, the question here is that she could say she didn't see A, B, C, D. Even if she did, you and me could never argue against that. Like I said, some of it she will know there are CIOs who are running things behind their back. And some of it, as somebody who is professional, she probably will choose to say, well, it's better for me not to see it. Then I don't have to lie. Yeah. But then you're not being honest with your mandate to deliver free and fair and credible elections. You know, so that is why I'm saying that in this particular case, she can choose not to see something, and she can honestly say, I didn't see it. When in reality, she should have been able to see it or to anticipate it, or be able to enforce rules that do not allow those shenanigans to happen. She cannot deny that the present voters' roll is not clean, is not verifiable. How can you have elections, free and fair elections, without a clean and verifiable voters' roll?
All right. Thank you so much, Mkoma Wilbert, on that. Lots to talk about today. Mkoma Mark.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I wonder, did you listen carefully to what Priscilla had to say?
Well, I'm a little bit biased. I've always said Priscilla is a professional woman who, in fact, has taken some kind of oath to be honest in what she does as a judge, as a person. And what Mkoma Wilbert is saying is also true. A CEO or a person in charge doesn't really know everything that happens underneath. However, what I hear here is that we just not ready to accept anything because there are so many anomalies that need to be to be fixed. And again, I keep saying I wrote a paper, I send it to very big people and say, let's fix whatever is wrong. So the structural changes that Mukoma Mukori is talking about are things that cannot be done within 2 weeks. Maybe there's something there. Maybe they're just hypotheses that we need to test, prove, and see if they are true or false. But that system needs to be so transparent that every citizen is comfortable with it, and to the extent that some people are not comfortable with it, speaks to the need of us doing something. But can we do something within 2 weeks? I don't think so.
So basically, Mark, what you're saying is you have got no problem with Priscilla Chigumba. She's doing the best she can, but there are some. It's a system problem that needs sorting, not Priscilla's fault.
Absolutely.
But was she sincere with the answering that she did?
I have to tell. I mean, I don't second guess another professional, and I know, as someone who worked in executive positions, I know sometimes you have to toe the company line, even though it's against your own principles. But that's how things are done in the world. So I can't say. I mean, when you say sincere, was she bending the truth in order to protect the system, or was she telling a lie in order? I don't think she's a liar. Let me put it that way.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mark. Chief Sodza. Chief Sodza, are you there? Right. Chief Sodza, I'm going to problem in my care. Sekuru. Yes, Sekuru, you did listen to the interview, did you?
Yes, I chose it.
And you saw what she had to say. You hear what she had to say. And I mean, what came to mind there? Did you think she's telling the truth, she's sincere? And for some people are saying that, you know, hats off to her to come out and try and clarify things for us.
Right. And then people wairamba kuti hazvizirizo ndo akuramba vachingoti haana kutsanangura zvakati, haana kutsanangura zvakati, hatina kugutsikana. The problem is ivo vane position yavo yokuti toda kuti zvinge zviri zvakati. But the reality is what she explained. Ndo zviripo zvacho.
I must say, Sekuru, what you explained nezvakaitika kuBulawayo, it looks to tally with what Priscilla had to say on that interview.
Of course, because ini ndaitaura mutemo, ndaitaura zvemutemo, hati makandibvunza kuti muri papi, ndikati ndiri pamutemo chete.
And you argued with Wafe, there's no ballot paper that has been printed, and you say the ballot paper has been printed, and exactly what she said.
I hope Pepe will have the decency of coming back and telling the people that he was lying.
So you think Pepe was lying, or you think Pepe didn't actually know?
No, Pepe said he knew because he said he is speaking from an official MDC position. And yet he knew that Timber was there at the Fidelity Printers. Hello?
Yes, Tauraji.
Vachitadzwa mapirindi wadeita ballot paper yacho akapuwa a symbol of the ballot paper risina chinhu riri blank. Vakanzi kana unoda kundomaka ngaanomaka, kana akaona chatransfer chimaki chake chikaenda paasina kumaka ouya nacho kudo kutozochiona kuti ndamaka apa chikabuda apa. Timber was there, and the new spokesman, Wachamisa was there, and they watched this. Pavaka Zukonana and Depo Wakati told out Peter, we printing press macho. Chikazina Chigumba Iowa. Chitakuda is right, good to told out Triwiri and Panasa Tricketer. Wait a good Muso direct out his net was saying. So the venue that they had gone to witness the printing of the ballots, and they left in protest. But he was pretending to say, "I am a ballot print." That was dishonest.
Okay. Very interesting, Sekuru. So whatever Priscilla said there was the law. She didn't bend anything there. She was sincere, truthful, according to the law.
She was very sincere, and it is if you want to bend the law to me to support your position, you can bend it as you like. Izvo ndizvo zvakatoitirwa zvemutemo. Mutemo wakati kuti ubhendiswe kana uchikusapota iwewe. Unogoregere kuubhendisa kuti ukusapota.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's interesting indeed, Sekuru. Saka imimi munoti, it was nice for her to come out and clarify these things. And you think she's doing a good job?
As far as I'm concerned, until such time as a person who is complaining adduces evidence, you would Chigumba very unlawful in terms of our electoral laws. Andina need you because I put a political position in terms of the legal position. I think that's Nanya.
Sekuru. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And so, Chief Sose, have you sorted your mic there?
Alright, sorry, DJ.
Okay, that's fine. What I'm hearing here is that Chigumba did a splendid job there, trying to align law and spell out the law to the masses, you know, and she didn't step a leg out of the law there. So people seems to be happy here with what she had to say. Are you one of those?
No, of course, I will never be happy with Chigumba. Just as I will never be happy with the present setup of ZEC. It's comprised of people who have strong ZANU PF connections. So I will never be happy about any of things and any of the people that are at ZEC. I still think Chigumba is a liar. I still think Chigumba is arrogant. And I still think the opposition must continue to put pressure on ZEC so that every demand that they are demanding is met.
Chief, sorry, Musati Maindakure, you are saying that Chigumba is a liar. Can you tell us what she has lied about?
If you go back to the issue of the scarf that he was talking about, I wish there was someone who could have probed her further. You know, we all saw her in Russia. If I was the interviewer, I would have asked her, why were you in Russia with ZANU PF people? Because it raises eyebrows to everyone. If I see the referee who is going to be refereeing the Croatia versus France match, then we see that same referee with France people or France players or with France coach. It raises eyebrows. So if I was the interviewer, I would have probed her further to justify, you know, why she was in Russia. If she was there with Mchangwa, who is ZANU PF, who has a party position, you know, and a government position. On what capacity was Mchangwa there? If it was about political parties, if it was about ZANU PF, then we should also have had representatives of other political parties there in Russia. So I mean, she covered it up because she maybe we can say she's a smart person. She managed to cover up most of the things that she was being accused of. But right there, you could tell that there was something wrong with it. And if that lady wanted to be sincere, she would have put pressure on her, because that wasn't right. And then we all know that that case went to court, and the Blower case, the one that we are discussing today, and obviously the MDC alliance lost. They lost on a technicality. The court didn't say it didn't happen. The technicality was that there was no evidence. But we have had these cases before. In 2008, MDC challenged most of a number of the parliamentary elections, the results and everything. And the only reason why they were dismissed was there was no evidence. But does it mean that there was no rigging? Does it mean what happened in Bulawayo was right? I will still stick by what I said last week, that if everything else that Sekuru is explaining and everyone else was explaining in terms of legalities, if everything else was okay, but if there is an anomaly that was observed, and if that anomaly was only, as people would want to put it, only that the officers, the senior officers, the bosses were watching whilst the police officers were voting, that alone is a brush against the law. That alone is an anomaly. And we know that that happened. But obviously, the evidence that was there was that there were people who were seeing it. But that evidence maybe is not submissible in court, and acceptable in court. But that doesn't make ZEC an innocent organization, and doesn't make the ZEC chairperson an innocent person. And this is the reason why the people of Zimbabwe will continue to mistrust ZEC, even after she went there and eloquently tried to distance herself away from what is happening, and try to make people believe that ZEC was a fair referee. The people of Zimbabwe are still mistrusting it. She still has a lot to do, a long way to go before the people can trust it. And trust is one of the key requisites for an organization like ZEC. It has to be trusted. It has to be trustworthy. So if that trust is not there, then it means we'll continue to have problems. So I say the pressure must be kept on, and the opposition must continue doing what it is doing right now. Because honestly, they might not get everything, but they are going to get something out of that pressure. What are they going to get out of that? Just the mere fact that they are making it, known to the world that they are not happy about what ZEC is doing, that they are not happy about the voters' vote. It's good. It's preparing people for what is coming. When we go for elections, when people go for elections, charged up the way they will be, if they go and sit in at ZEC for those 5 days, and then the next morning they still go for those elections, then it means if something happens on 30th of July, they continue with their rigging plan, then we are going to have problems in Zimbabwe. And so be it, because it's high time we have that. It's high time, we Zimbabweans rise up and really demand a free and fair election. And if it is not given, then they demand they defend their vote.
Aliwa, thank you so much, Chief Shoshe, for those words. And Suziwa Sali.
Yes, DJ Sodza.
Yeah, Sally, you had a quick listen to what she had to say, and are you one of those that are impressed, that were impressed?
look, credibility-wise, zero credibility, but I like the way she spoke. The way she explained the Bulawayo police postal vote and stuff like that is brilliant. It makes sense. Now I understand the whole situation, so thank you very much for that. Okay? I mean, she said that the ballots were printed provincially, so when each province's ballots are ready, then the postal votes get sent out, which makes sense. Okay? I've got no problem with that. Credibility, you see, it's association. It's who she is put there by, okay? That causes everybody a problem. There's lack of trust, there's lack of belief, there's lack of honesty and everything associated with it, which is a pity because, you know, I did a bit of a read-up on her past rulings and things like that, okay? And she seems a very fair-minded person when it comes to things like that, okay? So it's a pity, I think, okay, because I think this lady actually would like to be able to look at everything through the Constitution. And I think because of, and let me just go back a little bit. Titch explained exactly how ZAC is set up and how it all fits in and who's involved and all this kind of business. And that gives me nightmares like nothing else. Okay? So, that's why I'm saying, I think that she would like, I have the feeling that she would like to actually see everything and judge it according to the Constitution. And I think that she's hampered there because of, I'm choosing my words so carefully because I don't want to get into cut tonight. Because of who the association of ZAC is, okay? As to the reforms, ZAC can't put in any reforms. ZAC has got nothing to do with reforms. Those reforms have to go before Parliament. That's why I was shouting right at the beginning of this inter-party coup, okay, that people must hold Mnangagwa's feet over the coals, and they must start now. Okay, I can understand the people not starting then because they were all euphoric and happy and everything, but the party leaders should have been the ones to take up the fight, and nobody did anything. They were too busy tramping on a dying man's body and screaming and shouting and performing and attacking each other and everything. Okay, so that opportunity was lost. And nothing's going to happen now. And ZAC can't do anything about it. Because it's not up to them. Okay? You know something that I laughed about it and it sat in my heart. The guy that phoned, okay, I'm going to, you'll eventually see where I'm going with this, so please, I'm an old lady, okay, and I've got to think about everything I say because I want to upset everybody today. Okay, so, the guy that phoned in, he was asking questions and blah, blah, blah. Then he said he didn't like her arrogance and what she said because she turned around and said, that's water under the bridge, about the redesigning of the presidential ballots, okay? Which I mean, sense. You've got, what, 14 days minus? And now you're going to start redesigning and then reprinting ballot papers? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. What made me really, it took my breath away in a way, was at the end of that sentence, he turned around and said, you didn't need to use those words, water under the bridge, because you were saying it's final. You need to use words that still give Zimbabweans hope. And her reply to that was, want me to lie. And you know, it's a sad thing. Zimbabweans don't like hard facts. They don't like truth. But if you take the truth and you mix it up with a lot of lies, okay, they
love it.
Better. Yeah, because at the end of that, when it proves, according to them, that you were the liar, they can turn around and point a finger at you and say, see, you lied, you lied. Whereas if she is saying, no, there is no way we can redesign and reprint the presidential ballots at this stage. Okay? It's too late. In any case, it's not just the reprinting of the ballots and the redesigning of the ballots. It's the ordering of new ballot boxes that has to go, that would have to be done as well. Okay? So the whole thing would end up costing it a lot of money. But what upset me was the way the guy said, can't you give Zimbabweans hope by using other words? So, you want to be lied to? I mean, you see, this is the sad thing. The truth is, no, you can't do anything. No, you can't get the reforms through because the time has passed. No, Zach can't do anything about the reforms because it has to go through Parliament. Who's in Parliament? The representatives that the people put there are in Parliament. Why aren't the people holding those representatives accountable to do what they're supposed to be doing? That's the truth.
That's the truth. So, Sally, you are in the camp of saying that actually, number one, it was very nice of Priscilla to come on and tell Zimbabweans the truth of the matter. And you think she was sincere and truthful according to the law of the land?
Look, I think she was very brave, okay? And I agree with her totally in something. When the people went to that second demonstration and they went to present their
petition.
Okay?
Yeah.
Their petition. And they started insulting her according to gender. Okay? Why must people do that? Does it make you more clever? Does it make your petition more powerful? Why do we have to insult women by calling them houris and whores and all sorts of things? We don't do it to men. So with that, I agree with her totally. You men, seriously, you have to find something better to use against us. Because when you call me a houri, how do you know? Did you come houri with me to make me into that houri? Remember that. A woman doesn't become a houri by herself. It takes a whole line of you men to make her that houri. So you people are actually houri makers. There we are. That her totally. It's a pity that she's in the position that she's in, because I think that lady, out of all of these judges and stuff and lawyers and everything that I've had to listen to over the years, okay, that's the only one that I could kind of get behind and kind of understand and kind of, yeah, she's talking sense. I think she's coming from a place that's very, very difficult. I wouldn't have her job if you paid me $1 million a second, because I wouldn't be able to do what she's doing. I'm too straight. Okay? I can't, if something's wrong, it's wrong, that's the end of it. I can't BS over it. And I think that's what she's had to do a lot of, and I'm sorry for her, because I think she could be a really powerful lady, given given her way of presenting herself and things like that, if she was just allowed to be her.
All right. Okay.
DJ, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Sally is saying about people using the H word. That is uncalled for, and we should not allow that to happen. I have girls, and I wouldn't want one of my girls to be called that word, anytime, any day, anywhere. However, I want to differ with her on the on issues of reforms and going to parliament and and so forth. The issues that are at hand right now, most of them have nothing to do with parliament. They are issues that can be dealt with or that are supposed to be dealt with by ZEC and political parties. For instance, the issue of the voters' roll. Even if
right. Kana chikushosha pachimbogadzirisa mic yawo regai timbopinda muchitoro. We'll be back after this one.
This is a disclaimer. The opinions expressed by contributors during radio call-in shows are solely those of the individual callers and do not reflect the opinions of Zimnet Radio, DJs, presenters, managers or administration. Listeners are encouraged and advised to seek the services of qualified professionals for their personal problems.
In touch with the best online station, Zimnet Radio.
whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
It is a Thursday, and you know what that means. It's a men's corner show with yours truly, DJ Sodza.
This year, don't miss the Newcastle Zim Golf Tournament at the New Begin Golf Club on the beautiful Northumberland coast. The cost is only £50 per person. Please register today via our Facebook page or go straight to Eventbrite and search for Newcastle Zimbabwe Golf Tournament. After the golf, join us for a lovely family dinner at our Black Tie Awards ceremony, where we've got lots and lots of prizes to be won. You don't want to miss this.
Zvitsinei reZimbabwe ndozvo zvinoita some hiccups here and there, but it's very difficult uri kuma-studios try and rectify things, and people are calling from this corner, what's going on. It can get a bit hectic, but anyhow, we are back on now. Really sorry about the hiccup there. I think we still got an hour really to discuss a little bit more about what we were talking about in Priscilla Chigumba, and what she had to say about the upcoming general elections, and the anxieties that people have got. I've got a few questions really I wanted to ask earlier on, but what I will do is I'll read what some people are writing here. I've got two messages here that came through actually. But this one is saying, hello Mkoma Sodza, I think she lied about the scarf issue. She couldn't give an exact date when the picture was taken. She said the picture was taken before she was appointed. But there is evidence that it was taken after she was actually appointed. One of her officials, Mr. Moyo, was questioned about this, and he mumbled. So this whole thing is just a joke. That's a brother texting in the game. And this one is saying, hello DJ Sodza. Chigumba says they have no money to buy boxes to fit proper single file presidential ballot paper. Should we believe that when immediately after that we hear that ZEC is redesigning the voting room to a transparent one? Is that more important when it can be seen, especially by rural people, as an intimidation strategy And also, more importantly, where is she getting that money for the redesigning? And is it cheap to do that? Who has been given that tender? That's food for thought. That's another brother getting in touch on our WhatsApp here in the UK. But anyway, guys, I think I have to ask you this question. Chief Sodza.
Yeah.
Chief Sodza, I mean, I'm not so sure about what the law says. Now, ZEC chairperson, are they appointed or they are voted in?
They are appointed at the, I would say they are appointed, but at the recommendation of Parliament.
So, Chigumba was appointed at the recommendation of Parliament, and Parliament which include all the opposition, and they were happy with her to take on this job.
Yeah, but those are two different circumstances, you know. She was just a judge. She was looking for a job. Now she's in a very responsible position, in a very influential position.
Okay.
You cannot expect things to remain the same.
No. Chief, my question really, this is right, a very simple question. So you're saying that she was not appointed, she was voted in.
No, not voted. She's recommended. You know, just like what they do here, that a name is recommended, and Parliament takes its role.
Who started the recommendation here?
Recommendations are made maybe by political parties.
Right. Okay.
And then, but Parliament interview.
And the Parliament interviewed her, and Parliament thought she was fit for the job.
I don't think there's anything wrong with her credentials, you know. But I think this is what happens when someone is in that position.
No.
The pressure that ZANU PF puts on the people who become ZEC, chairperson.
Okay. Right. So, no, Chief Sodza, why I'm asking that, my question is, right, kana munhu uyo achiappointwa, then I've got a problem with that who is appointing these people? But kana muri kuti is recommended and then onekwa kuti they are fit to go in or whatever, but kana azopinda ozoitwa, manipulated and all that was there already, then that's a different issue altogether.
In the case of Chigumba, I mean, we were all there when Makarao resigned, and I think it was a presidential appointment, eventually.
So she was appointed by Mnangagwa?
She was appointed, yes.
Right, that's all I wanted to know. Sekuru?
Yo.
How did Chigumba end up in this position?
The chairman appointed was the easiest. Unodaiwa my nominations in newspaper name government as it good chairman. The public must nominate people who they think they are qualified. My nominations actually to Parliament Zimbabwe. So it was my public leaders. So it was my guys, my Chief Justice. And I like what interview the Parliament. Wakaona kwakuti vari wagona ndouyu vanoitwa marecommendations kuna president. And aitwa recommendations kuna president voappointa vanenge vaona palisti yavanenge vapo ndio vandoda. The same process inoitwa pana Chief Justice ndio yakanga ichiitwa naMnangagwa kuti isaitwa nemuntu iwoyo ichinjwe iitwe zvokuti president ndiye unonga apoindwa vanhu vake. ZEC chairperson uripo iko zvino akapoindwa paitwa maconsultations in parliament because anga vachireplace an outgoing chairman anga aregedzeswa nokuda kwekuu. Saka Chigumba uyu inhini kuti iapoindi yeparliament yekupu parliament.
Now, Sekuru, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this, and maybe for people out there to actually get to the bottom of it. Now, Sekuru, let me put it clearly like this. So, let's say in Parliament, 2/3 are ZANU PF, and 1/3 is opposition. Saka munhu akanga recommendwa kana that party in a 2/3 majority ikanga iri kuda munhu kuti apinde ipapo, obviously they are going to put their own person there because they've got power in parliament to do that. Am I being correct here?
Vanogona kushandisa majority parliament ari majority yavo vaita caucus.
Right.
But ndogona kutaurira pamusoro peumwe hwakarambwa neparliamentary caucus iyoyo. Anzi aite auditor general achitora nzvimbo yamai Chiri. Aibva ndiko akabva arambwa neparliamentary committee iyoyo kuti aiwa mai Chiri ngavarambe varipo because mai Chiri vanga vadarika temu dzavo yavo. These appointments are supposed to be on professional grounds, but on this particular one, Chigumba, they are guided the coup government, the coup parliament. Kagashi is the coup chairperson.
Right. Okay.
Kamendo achoka akatolita accept wacho mwachochamisa wacho ari kombe na maningi.
Chamisa was actually happy for my Chigumba to be appointed.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Sekuru, is this how it works? Okay.
Yes.
Now wait a minute. I'm going to read you something, and then you tell me if this is how it works. Okay. The commission comprises of 8 commissioners who are appointed by the president. So the 8 commissioners are appointed by the president.
Okay. The 8 commissioners are appointed by the president on recommendation of the parliament. They don't just come from Norway.
Okay. The chairperson is appointed after consultation with the Judicial Service Commission, and the other 7 are appointed from a list of nominees supplied by the Parliamentary Committee on Standing Rules and Orders. So it's the Parliamentary Committee of Standing Rules and Orders that puts the appointment forward. Well, the nominees.
The Parliament, they first of all, there must be a vacancy which must be advertised by somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So who is in charge of advertising that? It's Parliament. Parliament advertises that they are looking for a chairman of the ZEC. And then they consult, they get my nominees from the generality of the public. And then they interview these people and they bring them down to a short list. The short list is also brought to the attention of the Judicial Services Commission. Because the chairman was a qualified judge or a retired judge or somebody a practice with qualifications that to be appointed as a judge of the High Court or the Supreme Court.
Do the public actually take part in the choosing of the nominees?
They do nominate the judges and they send them to Parliament.
But which public?
Everyone, even you yourself, can nominate.
Do the public actually know that they can do that?
Yes, they do. They go through their political parties and they nominate people. They make recommendations.
Okay, cool. They do it through the political parties?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Saka, all right. So, Sekuru, you've got no qualms about the nomination, that the correct criteria was used. The parliament passed the Chigumba and then was recommended to the president, and the president appointed her.
No, I got a lot of qualms because appointing authority appointed Chigumba is a coup government.
Yeah, but
Rita Makarau was appointed by a government.
A sitting government.
No, it was a compromise government.
Okay.
Because it was a consultative thing. This government, GNU or whatever, it was not a legitimate government. It was a compromise government. It was a negotiated government. So the last chairman was appointed by a proper government elected was Justice ZANU PF. Chiweshi. So, in regard to Rita Makarau and
Priscilla,
we are reporting Chigumba, Priscilla. They were appointed by compromised authorities. They were not appointed by legitimately elected government. The governments that appointed them were compromised governments. This one was a coup government.
No. Okay. I think Sekuru, we got to move on. In Inangu, I'm not worried about whether this one was appointed by the GNU, this one was appointed by the coup government or whatever. What I was worried about is the right criteria being used here to appoint these people? Now, if the answer is yes, then I'm satisfied.
No, the parliament agreed on her appointment, Saga. In terms of the law, that is what should happen. Okay. The Judicial Services Commission agreed on her appointment. Saga, in terms of the law, she's legitimately appointed. The fact that she was appointed by an illegitimate authority, to argument in retrospect, find that a proper government an application in court with the sitting down because the authority, the appointed authority was illegitimate. But I am trying to highlight that I don't agree with everything about Chigumba.
Okay.
But in terms of her legitimacy as of now, as the country states, she is the chairperson of ZANU PF. To challenge on those qualifications, I will win because Parliament is agreed with India and Fanaka win.
All right. Ayo. Tatenda Jean Seguru. Mark?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mark. Do you know anything about this appointing of ZEC chairperson back home?
No, absolutely not.
Right. Because, hearing from what Sekuru is saying there, it looks like they do it, she was, appointed legitimately, and that the opposition in parliament agreed to her appointment. So, in that case, there is no issue here.
In fact, I'll tell you a secret that I didn't want to tell you guys. Which Mizimu is telling me.
Right.
Chigumba is not going to be the next president of Zimbabwe.
Chigumba?
Yes.
Is not?
She is going to be.
Oh, she's going to be?
In 2023 or 2028, she's going to be president and she's going to change Africa as a whole.
Babangu Chirambi. not here to part of a Zimnet radio, that thing is not gonna happen.
kuda makona angu ari kureya nema zvawo but ndo zvaanditaurira.
All right. So you think she's going to get into politics and she's going to be the darling of the nation and she's going to change not only Zimbabwe but the whole of Africa?
Absolutely. She's going to be the first seed of the unity of Africa. Watch my word.
You must rate her very, very high.
Say that again.
Well, she won't be part of ZANU PF.
Well, here's the you know, ZANU, MDC, ZANU PF, they really have to get their act together because their ideological differences are not there. They just hate each other on personality. So what parties will emerge, I'm not sure. But the real politicians like Pembe and Sodza will start emerging and say, why do we call ourselves opposition when we mean we differ at a personal basis? But anyway, I don't want to go into the philosophy of the...
I wanted to have her own political party. I don't want it to be part of ZANU PF.
Yeah, well, but ZANU PF is not a party. There are people like me there. We don't look at ourselves as a party. We look at ourselves as Zimbabwe. So if something good comes up, why not? Why not support it?
Right.
DJ, listen to this. Appointment of commissioners. The ZEC chairperson and 8 other commissioners are appointed by the president in consultation with the Judicial Service Commission. They are supposedly chosen for their proven track record and experience and competencies in the public and private sectors. They must be highly skilled individuals with high levels of integrity that are commensurate with the task of supervising and administering the country's elections. Appointments are for 6 years and can be renewed for a further 6, but they cannot serve for more than 12 years as the commissioner.
Okay. Wow. That is interesting indeed. The other question, and this was Yamkoma Gulbet, have you got anything to say about this criteria thing?
Well, the appointment itself is not the issue. The issue is that the institutions like ZEC, the police, the army, and so forth have been corrupted by ZANU PF to the point where, take for instance ZEC, we have got so many CIOs in ZEC already to the point where ZEC as an institution will never deliver free and fair and credible elections. That is one way ZANU PF has corrupted institutions like that. The other way they've done it, like I said, say for instance the first election commission that was there soon after independence, it was headed by Professor Walter Kamba. I think he was an outstanding citizen and who knew what he had to do. But ZANU PF undermined the institution itself by making sure that it was not properly funded. So you find that ZEC could not meaningfully supervise the process because they didn't have the resources. So you find who was managing it, Tobayo Mdede. And therefore then the elections were not free and fair, although ZEC per se would have wanted to deliver it, but they could not because they were not properly funded. So that is what we are talking about reforming the institution itself. And then you can make your appointment of people who are qualified to do it. Chief Sodza was talking earlier on about at the present moment they can deliver free and fair elections without having to recourse to reforms. The point is, if they don't, what is the mechanism there now to say ZEC failed to deliver the free, verifiable voters' roll? There isn't, because ZANU PF controls that whole system. Parliament cannot recall Priscilla and her team and say to them, why have you failed to produce a voters' roll? Because Parliament itself doesn't have that power. That is what we are talking about here.
All right. Thank you so much, Mkuma Wilbert. Zimbabwe, if you are just joining us, this is the Men's Corner Show. We're just talking about ZEC Zimbabwe. I just wanted to know the criteria at which these chairpersons are, appointed, because, it looks like the opposition is always crying about these people when they are appointed. But it looks like actually these people come through parliament. But I'm just a bit worried that maybe in parliament there, if there's a party which has got majority, they can put their own favorite candidate through, because they have got the numbers in there. I don't know. I'm just putting one by one together. Just okay. Right. So, regarding ISO, Chief Soshe.
Yes.
Chief Soshe, why is it that everyone in opposition is crying about the voters' roll, about ZEC and all the rest of it, and not a single tear from ZANU PF?
That's exactly the point. We Zimbabweans, maybe I should not say Zimbabweans, but there's this tendency by people that when they see someone in a suit, well dressed, looking beautiful, and speaking good English, we quickly just get washed away. And that's exactly what the ZEC chairperson is doing here. She's very eloquent. She's very, very eloquent. She can explain things the way, she explains it. And convince everyone, and convince people. But all she's saying is hogwash. There's nothing that she said in that interview. She was refusing everything that the opposition has been fighting for. That voters' roll, it's fraught with mistakes. It has a lot of things that need to be fixed. And like I was saying earlier on, those things don't need the parliament. They don't need to go to parliament. Those things can be fixed by ZEC. They're within its prerogative. They should be fixed by ZEC. And ZEC and Chigumba should not be that arrogant that they say when an opposition leader says, let's have a meeting and clarify these issues and fix these issues before the election. And then she refuses. She shouldn't be doing that, because when would those issues have been dealt with anyway? Because the voters' roll would not have been published last year. It is published now. So after it's published, that's when we see that it's wrong, after we have inspected it. When there are issues that have to be fixed in that voters' roll, the ZEC commission must fix them. They are fixing other things right now. They're changing the voting box, the ballot box. They have the mandate to do all those things. Why are they changing it? Because it suits them. It suits ZANU PF. Those ballot boxes are intimidated, and they know it. And that's why they are spending thousands and thousands of dollars fixing that. While on the other hand, they are saying they don't have money to fix the voters' roll or to fix the voter sheet. They're changing everything. They changed the sheet where the presidential candidates are. And it's law that it has to be done in a certain way. But they went ahead and changed it, which is against the law. And all those things are things that can be fixed right now. They don't need parliament. They can be fixed by ZEC and the political parties. And the mere fact that ZANU PF is not complaining, not even one day, shows you that ZEC is skewed towards ZANU PF. It's favoring ZANU PF.
Right.
So that's why ZANU PF is not complaining.
Okay.
The level of field, the playing field is not level. It's favoring ZANU PF. So we always have opposition parties complaining. And I salute them. They should continue to do what they are doing. They should continue to put pressure on Chigumba. They should continue to put pressure on ZEC. Because ZEC is ZANU PF. We know that.
All right.
So if you put pressure on ZEC, you are putting pressure on ZANU PF.
All right. Thank you so much, Chief Soswe. Sally?
Yes, DJ Sodza.
Now, could you tell me why the opposition is the only... I mean, everyone in opposition is crying about voters' roll, ZEC, voters' roll, ZEC, but ZANU PF isn't complaining about it.
Why would they complain about something that favors them? I mean, it doesn't make sense. You see, my problem with opposition, and it always has been, and I've said it a million times, ZANU PF, and I'm talking of ZANU PF as the ruling party, okay, as the party in sitting government, whether it's a legal government or a coup government or whatever it is, okay, they hold the power. The reason why ZANU PF and its affiliates, I don't know if you can say that, okay, but anyway, I'm going to say it, treat the people the way they do, is because they know all the people do is cry. They do nothing further than that. And they always cry louder towards the end, okay, and they just cry. Now, look, if I find somebody crying because of what I've said, okay, or something I've done, it's not going to make me change. I might say, hey, I'm sorry, whatever it is. But then I'll still carry on doing what I'm doing because all they're doing is crying. I just give them a tissue, tell them to blow their nose, pat them on the back, give them a cup of tea or whatever, okay, or a beer or whatever. Okay, and that's that. This is what the people have taught the ruling party to do to them, the way to treat them. The reason why nothing is being done in ZEC is because their feet aren't being held over the coals, over the heat, over the fire. They're just being nudged. Hey, why aren't you doing that? Hey, why aren't you doing that? And that's it. So, until the people realize that the power that the politicians or the ruling party, whichever party it is, has, is the power that the people give them. If the people hold on to their power and realize that those people in government, no matter whether it's an affiliate of government or actual government, okay, are their servants. They are there to serve the people. The people have the power. The people have to realize that. They've got to reclaim their power and they've got to say, right, you aren't doing things properly. That's it. We're going to do this and this and this and this, and then they have to do this and this and this and this. Not say, I'm going to smack you on the hands and then turn around and give them a box of chocolates instead of smacking them on the hands. It doesn't work.
Okay. Sally, thank you so much. Mukanya nditumira kuno kulesto kukwanzi ko ZEC and ZANU PF work hand in hand. So there's no need for them to cry. Mark?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, why do you think it's only the opposition, crying foul here, and the ZANU PF, the ruling party, has got absolutely no problem at all with ZEC? Or maybe they've got a problem, but they're just not saying it.
Well, I don't know, but I think your statement needs modification because it's not correct.
Okay.
DJ thought.
Yes.
I think the statement should be, why is it MDCT Alliance complaining and nobody else? Because we have 23 contestants, remember?
Oh, but yes, but Mark, I've been following other candidates like Nkosana Moyo, who I interviewed here on radio. He is very unhappy with the situation in ZK,
Yeah. Okay. Then Sally maybe gave the best answer because the things they complain about are actually what I call partial indictment with no evidence that they deliberate on as crimes committed by ZANU using ZEC. So, I mean, ZANU can't complain about that. They are the people being accused, and the accusers don't have enough evidence to really start any constructive deliberation. And that I'm afraid is what we do here sometimes. We take things, and I'm glad you do ask people like Sekuru to clarify what the law says. But Zimbabweans, we like very much to have partial, consequential and incomplete information, and then try to adjudicate over it when we don't have enough information. So I think ZANU is in the accused box here. So I mean, theirs is to respond, not to add fire into the pan.
Thank you so much for that. Tete Rosima, say.
No, Masquera saying, I'm so sorry, I forgot completely. I was so busy at work, I completely forgot.
I thought you were mad at me.
No. No, I've just been so busy at work that I just didn't even, I didn't even remember that it was even a Thursday.
Oh, dear. You must be very busy there. You must be making a lot of money there. Now, Rosie, we haven't got much time left, but I would like to hear your thoughts on this. All we hear is the opposition crying foul about ZEC. Why don't ZANU PF cry foul?
Why would ZANU PF cry foul? I mean, if ZANU PF is equal to ZEC, they do everything in favor of ZANU PF. So why would ZANU PF cry? They would never cry. They're perfectly happy with what's going on.
Oh, hang on a minute. We have been told by Sekuru here that ZEC chairperson is not they are recommended through parliament, and even the opposition are involved in choosing that chairperson. So this is done on a level ground.
So is Sekuru trying to say that all those ZEC people are actually doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and they're following the law, and they're not affiliated anyhow with ZANU PF?
Chigumba, for example, I'm told that she's following the law. Even if you listen to her interview the other night, it was to the dot of the law.
They appointed legally. That's what Sekuru was saying. The appointment, he has a problem with the appointment in a way that, because it's a coup government. But according to how they're supposed to be appointed, that
It was done correctly.
But at the end of the day, the law, legally, yes, they're appointed, and everything that's done is legally in favor of ZANU PF. And this is what I said before when you look at the electoral law. Anything that ZEC does has to go through to the Justice Minister of Justice. And who was the Minister of Justice was doing all of this before? That was Mnangagwa. So anything that's going to be done is going to be in the favor. Yes, legally, yes. But it's going to be in the favor of ZANU PF. So why would ZANU PF complain? The law is favoring them. So in that context, yes, Sekuru is right that there is a law the law needs to change, and that's what we were saying before about reforming the law. Because how can the Minister of Justice be everything that ZEC was supposed to do had to go to the Minister of Justice to be approved? If they're independent, why would they need the Minister of Justice to approve anything when they're supposed to be an independent body? And who was the Minister of Justice who was approving this thing? It was Mnangagwa at the time. So how are we going to get a ZEC that is independent when that ZEC when the people who are appointing them are in a political party? They're going to do what's going to be in their best interest. So you notice that the law, the way it was set up, everything was in favor of ZANU PF. And this is why we were pushing before all of this. I remember when we're saying, why aren't these people doing some things in Parliament to change the laws? Why are they talking about small houses? Why do you have time to talk about small houses when we have so many other issues to discuss that are pertinent, that you're going to have to deal with before the election? So yes, in that context, to an extent, Sekuru is right in terms of legally. But then there's other legal issues that still need to be discussed when it comes to Chigumba. You know? There's other things, like there was this, I don't remember exactly which section today. There was a section where even the design of the ballot paper is not legally correct based on the law. And then we're looking at, there was a whole host of issues with the voter rolls, issues that came up. We had people with IDs that have not been even issued yet. Where are those IDs coming from? So you have another whole host of issues, of things that appeared on the voters roll that were brought to her attention. And she's saying, it's water under the bridge. It's too late. I will have an election no matter what. So, yes, there may be part of the law that supports her. But then there's other things that she's doing that are not legal. So she's not correct. She's correct in some places and she's not correct. You can't say to all she's doing things that are legal. No. No.
What has she done? Hang on a minute. What has she done which is not legal?
Okay. If you're going to say, the voters roll. What is the point of issuing a voters roll? For people to audit. And then the issues are brought to your attention and you say it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're still. I remember there was a whole document, Pachelu something that actually people sat down and they documented was submitted to her. She was asked questions about that during the press conference and she didn't want to answer it. She doesn't want to she doesn't want to ask specific questions on the voters roll. To her, it's, I don't really care at this point. There is no time. There's only 2 weeks left. There's going to be election. Whether there's a proper voters roll or not, we're just going to still have this election. Whether the ballot paper was printed according to legally what is required by the law, I don't really care. We have it already. So this is what's going to take place.
Right. Hang on.
In that instance, that's okay. That's not okay.
What's the
point of...
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Let's have a conversation. Now, are you telling me that Chigumba has got the power to stop this election in 2 weeks' time? What, in a week and a half?
Well, she has the power as the chairperson to say whether they have done everything that legally they should do. That they're going to actually give a free and fair election. If there's issues that have been raised, like for the voters roll, she as the chairperson she cannot just ignore the issues. She can't say there's only 2 weeks so it's too late. Whose fault is it that a ZEC started registering people late? They didn't even educate people. They started registering people late. So registration started late. So Zimbabweans are supposed to pay the price of the incompetence of ZAC? Is that what she's saying? Because there's no time? Because the time is the issue. Let's talk about the time they've had where they had a strategic document which was up on their website of things they were supposed to do that they failed to do over 5 years. And they started doing everything last minute. This is a form of rigging. Delaying is a form of rigging.
Please,
Because you
can I point out something that Rosie was saying, please? That for me is very, very important. Can I?
Yeah.
The printing of those presidential ballot papers. It is written in the Constitution that it's supposed to be a single page, okay? And they have gone and they've put it in columns of 14. So it's 14 down the one side, and then I think there's 9 on the other side because there's 23. Now that is illegal.
Yes.
Yes.
And
she gave the excuse. Just hold on, Rosie. She gave the excuse that the ballot boxes, the holes in the ballot boxes are too narrow, which I know they are, okay, for a long sheet of paper, which then you've got to fold up and it becomes thicker. So it's new ballot boxes being, it needs new ballot boxes being made. The problem is, it's illegal, according to the Constitution, to print those ballot papers like that. Now, that is a huge problem.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. So you can't just say she's doing everything she's supposed to do legally. We have to look at everything that she's done and make a conclusion. Is this legal or not? And I want to point out, when that question was asked about the ballot paper, the printing of the ballot paper in that structure, I was reading on Twitter, Nick Mangwana actually said, Nick Mangwana, who's that chairperson, or something, you know, who's in London. He actually he actually said on Twitter, he's like, well, why would we put the president where he can't be found when people need to find him to vote for him? So he's actually justifying, he's not saying, oh no, it's correct, he's justifying, we're doing this for our favor. So Zach is doing this to make sure people find our president.
Right. Okay.
So when I'm saying when you say correct, let's look at everything that she has done. Is this correct? Is this all correct?
Okay, sorry, Chiefs, also you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. Before I point out the important point that I want to talk about, I just want to say I'm so glad that Rose came on board, because this is what I've been trying to say all this time. That
it's not here.
There are certain issues that Zek and Chigumba
is there not the notary
that don't need
to
go to Parliament, that she can deal with right now, because these issues come out right now and they have to be dealt with before election.
Okay, but it's going to make
now.
Conversation mangani.
Ndadzima sorry Sekuru.
Right, the important point that I also want to note that we had missed out on Chigumba's interview. Remember, she was asked about how ZANU PF got the numbers that they were sending messages to, and she could not answer that question. You know, she went on the side of ZANU PF, saying no, ZANU PF is saying they didn't even get that kind of voter through, or that type of voter through from them. She was now defending ZANU PF, but evidently that voter through, those phone numbers, they came from the voter through. And if you also read today, the news day today, they are saying ZEC has also admitted that their database has been hacked. The same database that has the voter through. The voter through that we are supposed to use on the 30th. All those issues. And then you see someone saying she doesn't want to meet with the opposition leaders so that we can discuss these issues. That's arrogance to me. And that should not be allowed to happen. I know my father, Baba Dr. Chatonda was saying, I shouldn't be saying I don't like that because of this. But it's issues like this that makes me mad. Because there is clearly a problem. This database, this voters roll we are using, has been hacked into. But we still want to have elections on the 30th. Without fixing this, we can fix this. It can be fixed. But everything that we are talking about right now can be fixed in the next 7 days.
Chief Soswe, if they are hacking into that database for the voters roll, what happens to the database for that BVR thing? Okay, it's supposed to be kept on servers and stuff like that.
But remember, we were never even clear. Remember, Sally, there was the issue of the server that was.
And I kept on asking about it.
Cleared up. It was never cleared up. That issue
and I
went
kept on
asking. Then disappeared. It was never cleared up. And then now, people discovered, some people managed to get hold of the 2013 voter roll, which ZAC claims they had destroyed. And there are some people from that voter roll were just pasted onto the new voters roll, and they just slightly changed the ID. So, there's just so much.
Okay.
So much.
All right, Batai Makadaro. Sekuru.
Yeah.
Yes, Sekuru. A simple question to you. Why is all other opposition parties whinging and complaining, but ZANU PF aren't?
ZANU PF got no reason to complain because ZANU PF is in government, and at the end of the day, it is a requirement of government to stage an election every 5 years. So as ZANU PF is saying, in terms of the constitution, we are supposed to stage an election in 5 years. We have issued an executive proclamation, and we wait for the institution that is mandated to run the election So what do you want to complain? Because ZANU PF is the ruling party. It says done what we are supposed to do.
Okay. So if they are seen to be complaining, then they will say, you have to fix it. How can you be a father complaining to kumba kwangu hakuna kumbira mushi? You are the father, you have to fix it.
Yeah, because if it's ZANU PF, then they say complaints. Then the SEC says we are now being undermined. We are being undermined by the government. What are we going to do?
Yeah, but is ZANU PF the government?
ZANU PF is the ruling party.
Yeah, but is that the government though?
It forms the government. It is not the government.
But with other parties, right? So they're supposed to be a separation of decisions made by government to those made politically, right?
No. Let me correct you. The government is purely made by ZANU PF. No other parties in government.
Okay, but there's people in parliament.
Those are the legislatures. They are different from government.
Okay, so those legislatures are supposed to be part of what decisions are made. Is ZANU PF?
No,
they are not. I'm trying to understand. Is ZANU PF running Zimbabwe for ZANU PF or for the people?
Rose, let me tell you, the legislators have got absolutely nothing to do with the government other than the superintendent.
Yes, I understand that. But if ZANU PF, it cannot question as a government of the day. Are they running the government for ZANU PF? Is the government representative of ZANU PF? Are they the government just ZANU PF? Or are they running the government for the people?
Do you know what the problem or the challenge with that is? They say we have got the mandate from the people.
The mandate from the people to not question anything that challenges the people.
To do what they are doing.
And what it is it that they're doing that is for the people?
To proclaim an election.
And the reason why I'm saying all of this is it goes back to the same problem we have. Zimbabwe is an entity of ZANU PF, not the people.
No, you are
and that's where
you
our
are missing the
problem
point. You are missing the point. ZANU PF says we have been elected. We went to the people. We said for the next 5 days.
Yes, but when you're elected for the people, your job is to listen to the people.
Yes, they say we are listening to the people.
So are they listening to the people when the voice of the people is the voice of God and they're walking in their thousands down the street? Is that listening to the people? Because the people are saying there's something wrong here. Yeah.
What are the people
that what I'm saying, if ZANU PF is representing the people, then they need to listen to the people.
Can I just say something there,
DJ? The problem is it's not about the people.
Okay.
It's never been about the people.
All right. Okay, hold on. Come a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's something that the opposition here also are not being entirely honest about. They keep maintaining that ZEC can change things. The point is they have not changed things. Yes, some of them ZEC could have easily changed them. Number one, they have not changed them, and that is a reality. And to think that some of these things could be changed in the remaining 2 weeks, things like, for instance, what we are talking about here, which is, I think, is probably the most important issue, the fact that the voters' roll is not clean and it's not very verifiable. That is one area where ZANU PF is going to rig the elections. So in this particular case, the opposition have got to come out and be honest with themselves and say, we have tried to get ZEC to change and we have failed. And we know that without those changes, these elections are not going to be free, fair, and credible. Rather than take people into these elections and then at the end of the day, turn around and say, ZANU PF rigged the election.
And I agree with you there, Wilbert. I agree with you 100%.
About
can I
to be rigged, because let me just finish that point, because it is important. It undermines the confidence of the people. If you keep on telling people, yes, we are going to go into these elections, yes, we are going to win them, yes, they are going to be free and fair and credible, and then at the end of the day, turn around, no, they were not free, fair, and credible. It undermines people in his confidence in the whole electoral system. Be honest with people and say,
yes,
to get what we wanted, these elections are not going to be free, fair, and credible. And therefore, then, if you want to go into this, go knowing that they are not going to be free, fair, and credible.
Then you have a problem. Hang on a minute there.
I've been saying that from day one.
Hang on a minute there. Then you've got a problem. ZANU PF will win hands down, because the only people that will appear supposedly to vote will be the ZANU PF people. Because if the MTC people...
But yes, the thing, Sally, if they're rigging the elections, ZANU PF is going to win. They're going to win hands down.
You're trying to pretend that you are changing anything when you are not. That is the point.
Well, but you can't change anything from the outside. Okay. You can't change anything from the outside.
You have to listen. What are they going to change from the inside? They've been in the inside. What have they changed?
It is a huge illegality, and it's a constitutional illegality that is happening, and nobody is taking it to whatever court they are supposed to take.
Sally, in 2008 there were
illegal presidential ballot papers.
Sally, can I say something? In 2008, Sally, in 2008 there were a ton of court cases, Sally.
Please hold on. Therefore, they have got a legal case, okay? And nobody's doing anything about it.
Sally, there's a lot of cases that they can bring before the courts. But let's also be very honest. I still believe, yes, they should bring all those cases to the court. But if we're going to be honest about the rigging of election, then we need to be honest about the judiciary in Zimbabwe, which is not independent. Because there are cases from 2008 that are filed from 2008 that are gathering dust in the courtroom.
Because they what's his name? Okay, hey, now I've even forgotten. I can't even think of the word. They go and start the legal proceedings and okay.
Yeah, but then those cases are postponed and postponed, and nothing ever happens. That's one. We cannot deny the fact that there's cases that have been postponed, that nothing has ever come to happen with them. Zimbabwe does not have an independent judiciary. It just doesn't. If we are telling ourselves there's an independent judiciary in Zimbabwe, then we're just lying to ourselves.
Independent judiciary, blah, blah, Rosie. Nobody said that.
Yes, so even if cases go before that judiciary, those are the same cases that are gathering dust and sitting for years. And I'm not saying they shouldn't take the cases there. I'm saying they should take them there. But we should also be honest enough to say the judiciary is not independent. Even if we take these cases to the courts, nothing may happen. Zimbabwe is not Kenya, where somebody went to on election day and they managed to overturn an election because it was not a legal election. That's not Zimbabwe. There's no independent judiciary in Zimbabwe. It's just yesterday, Justice Mulaba, 2 days ago, signed off saying Mugabe voluntarily left, and we all know that's not the truth. Because even Mugabe, no. But they're taking all these steps they need to take now to ensure that if they have to do anything past the election, or they have to move, maybe even violently in a violent way, they are not deemed as illegal people.
Okay, right.
So there is not a judiciary in Zimbabwe.
A lot of people have written to me in the past week and past month, actually, saying that DJ, really, would you think kuti vanhu vangatore pfuti chokwadi, they get a gun, they go and do a coup in November and elections in July, and you think they are going to give power to someone else? They said, if you think that way, you must be joking, literally dreaming. So that is that. I think that gives you hope, Zimbabwe, that on the 30th of July, nothing is going to change. I hope I'm wrong, but who knows what will come up to. We will meet again next week. Mark!
But please, Zimbabweans, don't stay away from the poll. Go and vote. Vote, please.
Right. Mark, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I muted my mic because my dog keeps barking every time Rose starts.
How many dogs have you got?
I got one big one. It's a German Shepherd.
Oh, right. Okay. That's good. Thank you so much, Mark, for that. I think he probably, maybe the dog needs a walk.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me just quell your fears, guys, and I will talk to Chief Sose about it, because all this talk about ZEC has got ZANU people, military is ZANU, police is ZANU. Next time we do an opposition party, I don't know which party I belong to, I'm ZANU right now. But please, you can't say you're an opposition party when you know you don't have any support in the major branches of the government. I talked about this with DT a long time ago, and they said, well, we have support in the police, in the military, we have our own CIA people, or CIO, whatever they call them. Now you guys are telling me everything is ZANU, and I don't believe you. I think the campaign strategy is flawed, and you need leadership with vision and imagination of what an opposition really needs to be. I know ZANU is a very good encouragement for any opposition to say, look, they haven't done anything for us for 38 years. That rings very plausible to people. But listen, if you are over 38 years old, my question to you is, where have you been those 38 years? So listen, our political strategy right now is based on personal and arrogant basis, both in ZANU and MDC.
we need to be educated politically, and I hope that will happen in my lifetime.